Okay, let's unpack this. It really is kind of a modern miracle, isn't it? You want to watch something new, maybe this huge blockbuster film, right? The studio probably has a master file that's, what, 100 gigabytes? And yet somehow it just pops up on your phone. Instantly. Perfectly. No waiting, no buffering. How does that even work, given the sheer size and, the distance involved?
It's fascinating, isn't it? And the trick is, it's almost entirely invisible logistics. We sometimes use this analogy, the global kitchen analogy.
Yeah.
Think of a big streaming service like Netflix as this huge global restaurant chain. That movie, that's the master recipe. So what we're going to do today is trace that recipe all the way from the studio kitchen to your screen, making sure it arrives hot, fresh, and right now.
Okay, I like the analogy, the master recipe. But hold on, if the original file is that big, 100 gigs, why don't they just shrink it down first before sending it out? Seems like keeping that massive file is just extra work.
That's a really good question. The reason is they need an absolutely perfect source. Flawless. It's what the industry calls the mezzanine file. Think of it like the original negative for a photograph. It's way too big, too high quality to stream directly. But you need that perfect starting point, so all the copies you make later are as good as possible.
Right. Okay, so you start with this giant, perfect file. But then how do you get it ready for, well, everyone's different devices and internet speeds? This sounds like the prep kitchen part of your analogy.
Exactly right. This is where transcoding comes in. It's basically a bunch of really powerful computers, our chefs. They take that one huge mezzanine file and they churn out loads of different versions. We're talking 4K, 1080p, 720p, 480p, maybe even lower, dozens of versions. And this process, making all those different quality levels available, that's the core idea. It's called Adaptive Bitrate Streaming, or ABR. The genius isn't just having the best quality, it's having all those backup, lower quality options ready to go, just in case.
Okay, so you've got all these different quality versions prepped, like different pots of soup ready. But how does my phone, say, switch smoothly between the 4K version and maybe a 1080p version if my Wi-Fi suddenly gets flaky? You can't just swap big video files midstream, can you?
Precisely. That leads to the next step, mise en place. Getting all your ingredients prepped and ready in the kitchen. So the chefs take every single one of those quality versions and they slice them up into tiny, tiny pieces, usually about 2 to 10 seconds long. These are the chunks. So that one big movie file, it's now maybe thousands of little independent video snippets, little plates of food. And crucially, they create a kind of map or a menu. It's called the manifest file. This manifest tells your video player, your app, exactly what chunks exist, what quality they are, and importantly, where to find them.
Thousands of tiny plate. Okay, I see how that helps with switching quality. But hang on, even if they're small, wouldn't fetching thousands of these chunks all the way from, say, California still take ages, introduce lag, the food would get cold?
You're exactly right. A central kitchen wouldn't work for a global operation. And that brings us to the global warehouse, or technically, the content delivery network, the CDN. Now, this sounds incredibly complex and expensive, but it's actually how they make it work efficiently. As soon as those thousands of chunks are created, they're copied, replicated onto servers all over the world. We're talking potentially hundreds of thousands of servers in different cities, different countries. So the specific chunk of video you want to watch next isn't in California. It's probably stored on a server just a few miles from your house, like a local hot food counter. This proximity basically crushes the latency, makes it super fast.
Wow, okay, local hot food counters everywhere. That's the logistics genius right there. So the final piece must be when I actually hit play on my device. My app becomes the smart waiter.
Exactly. Your Netflix app, or whatever you're using, acts like a really smart waiter. First thing it does, it downloads that manifest file of the menu, sees all the options available, all the chunks and qualities. Then it quickly checks your situation. What kind of device are you using? What's your current internet speed like? How hungry are you? Based on that, it orders the perfect chunk for that exact moment. It might even start with a really low-quality chunk, like a 480p appetizer, just to get something playing on your screen instantly. Then, if your connection is good, it'll seamlessly start requesting the higher quality chunks, maybe the 4K main course.
And the critical part, what happens if my connection drops?
Right. So if your Wi-Fi suddenly slows down, the waiter doesn't panic or make you wait. It just instantly orders a smaller plate for the next 2 to 10 second chunk. It picks a lower quality version from the menu, so you might see the picture quality dip for a few seconds, but the video keeps playing. You don't buffer. That's the key trade-off. It sacrifices a bit of quality temporarily to maintain that smooth, continuous playback. That's the real cleverness of modern streaming.
So wrapping this up then, the secret isn't just having a fast internet pipe, is it? It's this whole chain. The giant mezzanine file gets transcoded into multiple qualities using ABR. Then every quality is sliced into tiny chunks, listed on the manifest. Those chunks are copied everywhere onto CDNs, so they're local. And finally, your app, the smart waiter, constantly checks your connection and orders the best available chunk for that very second, avoiding buffering by downshifting quality if needed.
You've got it. That's the essence right there. And maybe the final thought is this. The truly brilliant technology, the most complex systems, they often feel completely invisible when they work well. This entire global dance from that 100-gigabyte file in a studio vault to a specific 10-second chunk hitting your phone. It all happens in the tiny fraction of a second after you tap play and before you even see the first frame light up. The real magic, isn't just the movie itself. It's the incredibly sophisticated delivery system that gets it to you instantly. That's the essence.